Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Welcome to Wild Flow with me, Sydney. Today, our theme is I See You. I know that's something I say at the end of most every class, and the reason for that is because it's important. It's important to be seen, it's important to feel seen, it's important to see yourself in a light that is an illuminating light, so that you can feel heard and understood. So, our quote today is from Phoebe Garnsworthy, and she says, "You are given one body to use, and not just any body. Your soul chose this body for a reason. You have the ability to love and heal your body. You have control over what you feed your body and how you nurture your body. So become friends with your body. Learn what it is your body needs. Love and accept yourself exactly as you are right in this moment and feel seen." So without further ado, we will get started. Go ahead and find a comfortable seated position, moving fleshy bits out of the way, sitting up nice and tall. This playlist will be Wild Flow 6 if you're following along, and you can go ahead and push play now. So we'll close down our eyes. We'll sit up nice and tall. We'll relax our jaw, allowing our mouth to close. And we'll begin to consciously move air in and out of our body through our nose, filling up our chest, filling up our ribs, filling up our belly, and exhaling from our belly, from our ribs, and from our chest. Inhale again into your heart space, expanding it outwards as far as it can go, then pulling air into your ribs, expanding 360 degrees around your torso, and finally into your belly, pressing your belly button away from your spine, filling yourself up completely with breath before exhaling and releasing from your belly, from your ribs, and from your heart. So we'll continue breathing in this way, filling up top to bottom and bottom to top, filling up top to bottom, expanding the belly out, big Buddha belly breath. And then as we exhale, moving from bottom to top, pressing all of the air out of our lungs. And then nice and slowly, we'll begin to introduce movement into our bodies, into your body. Maybe by gently swaying side to side. Maybe rocking forward and backwards. Maybe drawing nice circles in the air with your shoulders. There's no wrong way to settle into your body through movement. So just go ahead and explore. If you're listening to music, let it move you. If you're stretching today or moving today to the ambiance of your home, then find a rhythm that works for you. Keeping your breath going, filling yourself up all the way to the top, or bottom, I should say. And then exhaling all the way to the top. Keep these gentle movements going, working in big circles here. Just allowing this rhythmic movement of your body to release distractions from around you. Let everything outside of your mat happen as it's going to happen. And let everything on your mat happen intentionally with as much focus as you can muster. Filling yourself with breath. Maybe even opening your mouth and sighing out your exhale. Keep your breath going. And carry this 3-part breath with you as much as you can through your practice today. Filling yourself up and emptying yourself out. Slowly begin to bring your movements in towards center, making them smaller and smaller and smaller until you pause in stillness. Doing a mental scan of your body from your head to your toes, checking in with how you're feeling today. Before gently blinking your eyes open, taking your arms wide out to the side, palms facing in front of you. Continuing with your breath, stretching the backs of your hands towards one another, pulling your arms as wide as they go, and then pulsing a little bit wider. Keeping your breath going, filling you up and emptying you out. And then we'll turn our thumbs down towards the floor, palms of the hands reach behind the back, interlace the fingers at the hips, pull the arms down, lift the chest and the gaze up slightly. Keep filling yourself with breath. And we'll take both fists and bring them over to the left hip. Fill ourselves with breath. And then exhale, tip over to the left. So stretching over the fists here, over the interlaced fingers. And we'll bring ourselves back to center, switching sides. Fists come to the right hip, big breath. Lifts you up and over to the right side. And then we'll inhale, open up. Exhale, cross our arms left over right. Inhale, open, cross our arms right over left. So making this movement quicker and more fluid, switching the cross of your arms every time you bring them back into center. Warming up through the front of our arms here. Wakening up our shoulders. And we'll bring our left hand to our left knee, our right hand back, strokes back, isolating the right shoulder. 3, 2, 1. Switching at the top, forward, pedal with the right arm. 3, 2, 1. Right hand, right knee, back stroke with the left arm. 3, 2, 1, and change direction forward. I guess it's front crawl. 3, 2, 1, and 5. Back circles both arms. 4, 3, 2, 1, and forward. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Bringing hands to heart center, waking up through those wrists. Drawing circles on the ceiling with your fingertips, pressing the palms together, circles back and forth. And we'll take those hands, open and close the fingers, doing it very actively. We'll knock towards the ground and towards the ceiling, and then shake out the arms, shaking out the elbows, shaking out the shoulders. We'll come forward onto all fours, hands underneath of the shoulders, knees underneath of the hips. And we'll just take a moment to draw circles around our wrists here, keeping your elbow crooks either pointed towards one another or pointed to the front. And changing direction, circling through the other way. Turning our fingertips back towards our bodies. We'll lean back, getting a nice stretch through the front of the wrist. And then we'll turn our fingers back to front. We'll take a big breath, fill ourselves up, And then as we exhale, we'll tuck the tailbone, arch the spine, pull the shoulder blades apart, tuck the chin in towards the chest. We'll inhale, lift the tailbone, lower the belly, lower the chest between the shoulder blades, grip the mat with our fingertips, pull our chest forward and look up. Exhale, coming back to cat, arching the spine, pulling the shoulder blades apart. And then inhale, lower down through the chest, lift the gaze. Exhale, rounding the spine. And then we'll come back to neutral, move into a barrel here, so moving side, down, side, up. So full circles with the upper body, stretching out through the spine, warming up the back, and other direction here. You might get some cracking happening, that's okay. In coming back to neutral, we'll do little pulses tucking up into our chest here, tiny little pulses. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then lowering down, squeezing the shoulder blades together, shoulder blade push-ups or scapular push-ups. 3, 2, 1. Leaving the right hand and the left knee on the ground, we'll reach our right leg out long and our left arm out in front, and we'll cross side to side. So right foot goes to the left as the left hand goes to the right, opening wide, and to the side. And then we'll lower the right knee back down, stepping into the right knee, and the right hand will open the left hip to the side, reaching the left arm up towards the ceiling. Big breaths here. And we'll reach that left hand overhead, and we'll pull the elbow back to the side. Pulses here. Pulsing nice and strong through the elbow. And 1, bringing that elbow into the side, we'll tip that right hip, turning it inwards. Cartwheel our hands coming all the way to our gate. So left hand to the left hip, or left leg, right hand comes all the way up and over, big stretch here. And we'll pulse it out the other way, little pulses, reaching, reaching, reaching. Getting a nice stretch up the left side of the body. Bringing our hands back parallel to the floor, we shift side to side. Keeping those right toes turned under, we'll bring our hands into center, and we'll lift and lower through the right hip. And then we'll come up, bring that left knee in to meet the right knees together, feet apart, toes pointed, sitting down between the ankles, hands reach for the feet, sitting up nice and tall, little circles with our chest here, counterclockwise. And then change direction clockwise. And then we'll come back onto all fours, reaching our left foot back and our right arm forward. And then swinging side to side, open and close. Keeping the fingers extended out in front and the toes extended behind. Keep breathing. 2, 1. Left knee comes down underneath the left side of the body as we open the right hip up to the side, coming in to our extended side, reaching the right arm forward. Big stretch, fingertips to toes, elbow pulses back. 3, 2, 1. Keep breathing. Big reach, pull it back. Right hand comes to the right hip, pivoting that left knee forward, bringing the left arm all the way up, right hand slides down, reaching over extended side angle, little pulses. And then we'll cartwheel our hands parallel to the floor, tiny shift side to side. And we'll keep side to side shifting happening as we bring our hands towards heart center and bend down into that left hip, left hip pulses back and down. And we'll step that right foot in towards center, coming up onto the left as well, coming into our deep squat or deep yogi squat. Heels down, we'll shift side to side. You can use the elbows to hold the knees open here, shifting the hips side to side, and we'll side to side lifting. So lifting over to the right side, over to the left side, little pulses at the end here. And then we'll open our hands, palms to the front, squeezing our elbows into our knees, lifting our chest, squeezing our shoulder blades back, big breaths into the belly here. And we'll plant our hands down in front of our body, straighten our legs up, coming to forward fold with wide feet. Then we'll lift and lower into the right knee, pulsing the knee in towards the chest. Or right heel, lifting and lowering, bending into the right knee, dropping the right hip, and switching sides. So bending into the left knee, lifting and lowering through the left heel. And we'll lower both heels down, bringing opposite thumbs to opposite elbows, figure eights with the elbows here, letting the body hang heavy, shifting side to side. And then we'll release the hands back down, toes come pointing together, heels are pointing apart, hands come to shins, chest lifts for flat back, so our toes are deeply turned in. And we're shifting our hips side to side. So we're bending one knee at a time, figure eight with our hips side to side. And then we'll bring our heels in towards one another, toes pointed out, hips go side to side. And then we'll bring ourselves up to standing with our toes turned out. Arms come up above the head, keep those hips going. And we'll exhale, bring our hands down to heart center as we shimmy ourselves back down to our squat. And releve up onto the right toe, so lifting and lowering through the right heel. And then left heel, lift and lower. And right, lift and lower. And then left side, lift and lower. Pressing those heels down towards the ground, we'll start our hips side to side as we come back up to standing. Turn our toes towards the front of the room, hips go side to side, arms come all the way up. Big breath all the way up to the sky, hips stretch forward. We'll step up to the top of our mat, exhale, hinging at the hips, forward fold. We'll inhale, hands come up the shins, chest lifts, flat back. Exhale, fold down, planting the hands, step or walk your way back to downward facing dog and bounce it out. So grounding down into your heels, getting your jiggles going. And we'll keep those jiggles going as we alternate our left and our right heel up towards our bum. So marching it out, jiggle, jiggle, march, jiggle, jiggle, march, jiggle, jiggle, march, jiggle, jiggle, march. And then bring those jiggles still and run it out here. So stepping one at a time, heels up towards the booty, and then pressing hips go high. Heels go down, chest goes back, full downward facing dog. We'll plant into the left leg here as we inhale, raise our right leg into the air. We'll pulse our knee into our chest, and then inhale, lift, Exhale, knee into chest. Transfer your weight slightly forward. We'll inhale, lift. Exhale, knee into chest. Inhale, lift. Exhale, knee into chest. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, knee into chest. Right foot back towards the floor. Hips go high. We'll tap out opposite ankles. So reaching back, right hand outside left ankle, left hand outside the right ankle. March it out. And then we'll press our chest towards our knees as we inhale, lift our left leg up into the air. Exhale, knee to chest, bring it forward. Inhale, left leg up. Exhale, bring the knee forward. Inhale, lift it up. Exhale, bring it forward. Inhale, lift it up. Exhale, left leg down to meet the right, pressing downward dog. We're going to look up between our hands, fill ourselves with breath. Transfer our weight forward to plank. We'll take our hands and turn them outward if this is okay for your wrists here. And we'll transfer our weight side to side. You can be on your knees for this too. And then bringing our fingers back towards the front. We'll lower down our forearms to the mat and our hips come to reach. Lifting one leg at a time. Getting those fleshy bits out of the way, elbows under the shoulders, fingers reaching forward, gripping the mat with our fingertips. We're pulling our chest forward and lifting it up. So gently, gently, tucking into the chin. You're nice and long through the back of your neck. Big breaths here. And we'll release those elbows wide, lower the chest to the floor, bring the hands underneath of the shoulders, flip the toes, big breath comes up through push-up, and back to downward facing dog. We'll circle out through the hips here. And then change direction of those circles. This time we'll lift our right leg up into the air, bring our right knee into the chest, and then when we send it back up, we're going to kick it to get a little air time. So bringing right knee into the chest, right leg kicks up, get some air time, right knee into the chest, swinging with momentum of that right leg, getting some air time happening, and then lowering that right knee down to the mat. We'll cross the left leg over to the right side. Big stretch here, lifting the chest up. So left leg is way over to the right. And then we'll bring that left leg back to neutral position, flipping through the right toes, planting through the hands, pressing the hips up and back, coming into pyramid pose. So feet are parallel with one another, toes pointing in the same direction. Both legs are straight. You can widen your stance. Otherwise, keeping it here, stretching through the backs of the feet. Hands can come up the shins or stay on the ground. So walking pyramid pose. And then we'll inhale, lead with our chest, pivot from our hips, stepping into that into the right leg. We'll bring the left knee up into the chest. Give it a big squeeze. And then cross our ankle over our knee, coming into a figure four with our right leg straight, hands to the hips, and we'll lift and lower through the chest. So squeezing the shoulder blades and the elbows together to help lift your chest. Nice. And we'll bring our hands out to the side, big breath. Exhale, hinge at the hips. Bending into the right knee, sitting down into your forward fold, and we'll take our hips side to side. And we'll take that left leg, uncross it, reach it all the way back over to the right side, lift with our shoulders coming into a curtsy lunge. Our left arm goes up and our right arm reaches for the floor, and we pulse here. So bending into the knees, lifting and lowering. And then we'll cartwheel our hands back down on the inside of the right foot, stepping our left foot wide to the mat, and we'll shimmy side to side. So grounding into the pinky toes, shaking out the hips, shaking out the arms, shaking out the head. And we'll plant our hands down, jumping or stepping back into our plank, pressing up into our down dog. Little pulses here with our heels. And we'll keep those pulses going as we transfer into our plank. Keep those pulses going as we bend at our elbows, lower our chin, our knees, chin, and chest to the ground. We'll inhale, chest lifts, and exhale back down. Keeping our hands and toes pressed into the mat, we inhale through plank and exhale downward facing dog. We'll inhale, our left leg lifts high into the air. We'll exhale, bend the knee, bring it into the chest. And again, using our momentum, sending that left leg back, getting some air time. Sorry, Yogi. Left knee into the chest, swinging it through, getting some air time. And lift. Left knee in, swinging it up. Left knee in, swinging it up. Left knee in, swinging it up. And one more time, left knee in, lowering it to the mat. Right leg steps way over to the left. Lifting up gently here. Squeezing your thighs together. We can do little arm pulses here. Tiny little push-ups. And then we'll bring that right leg back where it belongs, flipping our toes under, even if our left toes flip under, pressing our hips up and back, stepping our left leg a little bit forward, coming into pyramid. Back is parallel to the floor, tiny little chest pulses here, through the back. And then we'll step into that left foot, bringing that right knee in towards the chest. You're at the top of your mat. Right knee comes into the chest. Right ankle crosses over left knee. Keeping that left leg straight for now, using your inner thigh to keep your right leg lifted. Hands inhale, come all the way up. And exhale down through heart center. Big breaths here. And then we'll bend into that left knee, sitting down into our chair, our hips tick side to side. And we'll take that right leg, uncross it, and reach it way behind us over to the left, lifting with the chest coming up. Right arm comes up, left arm goes towards the floor, stretching the arms away from one another, pulsing into the knees. We're on the song This Feeling. It feels good. Pulsing, pulsing, pulsing. And then we'll take both hands, cartwheel them down on the inside of the left leg. The right leg crosses high for standing split before coming back to meet the left at your top of your mat. Toes together, heels slightly apart. Inhale, hands come up the shins, chest lift. And we'll draw a big circle with our broad line here. So our chest circles counterclockwise. And then we'll fold it out. Hands come to meet the ground beside the feet, planting into the hands. We'll walk little baby steps. So our feet come back all the way to the end for our plank. Our hips come forward, and we're lifting up through our right heel. And switching to our left, little pulses, lifting the leg parallel to the floor. 3, 2, 1. Switch it out, right leg. 2, 1, and left. And right. 3, 2, 1. One more time on the left. Left. 3, 2, 1. Knees come wide, toes point, hips come back, child's pose, tenting the fingertips here. We're going to shift our chest side to side. And we're going to plant into the left arm, reaching our right arm up to the sky on the right side. And we're going to exhale, tuck that right hand underneath of the left armpit, threading the needle here. And then we're going to reach for something unseen and we're going to pull it out and out. So we're reaching under, pulling it across. And we'll put the right hand on the mat, reaching for the left arm underneath the right armpit and pull it across, back and forth. And then we're going to flip our toes, sitting back on our heels, bring our knees a little bit closer together, lifting both hands behind the back, lifting through the chest, gentle pulses into the back here. So arching the spine out. And then we'll sit back on those heels, rolling up. Chest comes to lift, fan out those pinky toes. Sitting up nice and tall. Big breaths here. And we'll roll out our wrists, drawing circles with our hands. We're sitting back on our heels, stretching out the soles of our feet. We're smiling because it feels good. And we're rolling our wrists the other way. We're taking our hang loose hands, our shaka hands, and shaking them out. And then from here, so we're up at the top of our mat, we're sitting on our heels. We're going to reach our hands forward and lean back so we can lift our knees. Yep, they're going to lift any minute, lifting our knees up and then lowering them back down nice and slow and controlled. Coming up, lower the hips down, lean back, lift the knees up, lower them down, nice and slow and controlled. In theory, lift our hips up high and lower back down. So we're sitting back, we're lifting the knees, we're lowering the knees back down, and we're lifting the hips up high. So this can all be done also with your hands on your hips or even on the floor. Meet yourself where you are. Remember, say it to your body, I see you, we've got this, and down, lifting the knees up, lowering them down, lifting the hips. I scared Yogi. Hips go down, and one last time, reaching the knees up. So now you're in your toe squat. So we're up on our toe squat, our hips or our thighs are parallel to the floor. We're sitting up nice and tall. Our hands can come to heart center and we'll open and close one knee at a time. Making our feet nice and strong. And our knees come together. We lift up a little and lower back down. And we lift up a little bit more and we lower back down. And we lift up all the way, heels go down, arms go up, big stretch. Exhale, hands come down on either side of the body, coming into Tadasana or mountain pose. So we're active through our feet, up through our shins, knees are softly, softly bent, thighs are squeezing together and pulling apart simultaneously. Tailbone is tucked under, arms are active at the sides of our body, fingertips reaching towards the ground, elbows pulling back, shoulders pulling the chest open, floating ribs tucked in, keeping the core nice and strong, chin tucked, crown of the head pressed up towards the ceiling. Breathing here. Nice big breaths. And we'll inhale, raise our arms actively like they're moving through water, nice and slow, wide to the side. Bringing them all the way up above our heads, tucking our shoulders up towards our ears before planting our palms together. Shoulders come down away from the ears, elbows come wide, hands come to heart center. We'll ground into the right leg as we hinge forward, lifting the left foot out behind our back. Keeping our chest lifted, we'll press our left hand in, or our right hand into our chest. Our left hand reaches back as we bend. We're bending into our left knee, reaching back for the outside of our left foot. So left hand, left foot, hinging forward, hand on the heart, feeling your heartbeat, grounding down through your standing leg. Nice and strong here, big breaths. And then we're going to bend into our standing knee. So bend your right knee down as far as you can go, nice and slow and in control. And once you're there, pausing at the full expression of your bend, taking 3 deep breaths here before inhaling and straightening your leg back out, releasing your left foot, hands come wide to the side, left leg reaches back for airplane, big breath. Exhale, hands come down to the floor, left leg flies up for standing split. And then we exhale, bring that left foot back beside our right foot. We'll inhale, hands come up the shins, chest lifts for flat back. We'll exhale, fold down, hands plant on the mat, jumping back straight into plank. We'll exhale, bending the arms close to the body, lowering the knees, chin, chest to the floor, pointing the toes. We'll inhale, lift the chest, lift the hips, lift the knees, coming into upward dog, flipping toes one at a time, pressing our hips up and back, downward facing dog. Big breaths here. Then we'll come up onto our tippy toes, doing little hops. We'll little hop our feet all the way back up to meet our hands. And exhale into forward fold. Hands can come behind the back, interlacing the fingers. Arms come long. Elbows and wrists lift up towards the sky, deepening the stretch with the weight of your arms above your body. Letting the neck be long and soft. And then we'll release our hands. Our hands lead the way down towards the ground as we bend our hips, sitting our hips back. Arms come forward into Utkatasana or chair pose. Big breath here. And then we'll exhale, hands into heart center, bending deep into your sit, into your chair. And then we'll inhale, straighten the legs, bringing the right leg with us. Knee comes into the chest, left leg is left standing. And we'll hinge at that left hip, right foot straightens out behind the back. Left hand comes to the chest this time, bending into the right knee. Our right hand reaches back for the outside of the right foot, pressing our foot into hand, hand into foot. We take deep breaths here. You can keep your heel pulled right towards your bum, not necessarily going into a full dancer, but if you can and want to, go for it. Oops, and if you wiggle, wobble, fall out, get back up. You can do it. Filling ourselves with breath. We'll exhale, bending deep into that left knee. And we'll inhale, straighten. And then exhale, bending to the fullest depth of your left knee bend. Pausing here for 3 big breaths. And then we'll inhale, straighten out through that leg, release the right hand, arms come out, our right foot, arms come out, right leg goes back for airplane, and exhale, hands come to the floor, right leg goes high for standing split, and then we'll bring that right foot back in to meet the left for forward fold, taking opposite elbows here, swaying side to side, catching up with your breath. And then we'll release our hands down, planting into our left leg once again, stepping our right leg back and opening our foot up 90 degrees to our left leg as we cartwheel right hand over left, bending down into warrior 2. So right foot perpendicular to the left foot, deep bend in that front knee, arms parallel to the floor. We reach forward and back, hinging from the hips, and do some big circles here with our arms. And change direction. And we'll bring our hands to heart center, deep bend into that left knee, left elbow comes to the inside of the left leg, left hand reaches down to the floor, right arm reaches up to the sky. Big breaths here. And then we'll bring our right hand to our right hip, coming onto our right toes, our right hip reaches towards the ground, left hand on the outside of the left foot, and then circle out through that right hip. And we'll reach that right hand down to the floor, lowering the right knee, pointing the right toes, walking ourselves up onto that left thigh, pressing our hips down and forward. Nice big crescent lunge here. You can even take your right hand up above your head, reaching towards the sky, reaching behind you. So you're getting a nice stretch up the right side of your right side of your body. And we'll fill ourselves with breath. And exhale, the right hand traces the front of the room as we place the right hand down beside the left foot. Left arm reaches up to the ceiling and comes to point to the front of our mat. So big twisting side stretch here. And we'll turn our chest back towards the floor, so parallel to the floor, flipping our back toe, straightening out through our back leg, shift forward and back. Left arm reaches forward, little shifts forward and back. And we'll bring that left hand back behind the body. Bring those shifts to stillness as we reach our right hand up behind our body as well, lowering that right knee. We bring our hips up and back. Left toes pointed towards the sky for half split or half Hanumanasana. And we'll lean into the right knee as we step our left leg back, coming into a kneeling pose. So both knees on the ground, toes turned under, hips are high, standing up on our knees, hands to our hips. And we'll draw a big circle with our upper body here. So keeping our hips pressed forward, not crunching into the low back, making sure you're moving from the hips and the upper glutes. And change direction. And then we're going to take our arms, reach them to the front of our space, press our hips forward, and slowly begin leaning back, engaging through the core, engaging through the front of the legs, shimmying yourself as far back as you can go, and we'll inhale, press the hips forward, arms come up, and then we'll exhale, hinge at the hips, chest leads, forward fold, forehead to the mat, hands come behind the body, point the toes, hips come to lay on the heels, roll out your forehead side to side. And we'll bring our hands back underneath of our shoulders, lift our forehead off of the mat, look up to the top of our mat, walk our hands that way, bring our right foot with us, stepping into a nice low lunge here. So left toes pointed back, left knee behind the left hip, walking up one hand at a time, coming into your deep crescent lunge on the other side. Left hand reaches forward and up to the sky, big stretch through the left front side of the body. Big breaths here. I'm going to switch sides, so staying where you are. Big stretch. Left hand comes down on the inside of the right foot, flipping that back toe and opening the right hip to the side as we cartwheel left hand over right, coming into warrior two on the other side. So right hip is down and forward. Right knee is bent deeply inside of the thigh, pointing at the second toe. Reaching, shimmying forward and back, hinging from the hips. And we'll take our arms, circle them out here as we move forward and back. And changing direction here. Cycling the arms backwards. We'll bring our hands to heart center, taking a big breath. Exhaling, deeply bending into that right knee, right elbow comes to the inside of the right leg, right hand reaches down towards the ground, left hand reaches up towards the ceiling. Big stretch here. And we'll bring that left hand to the left hip, pivoting onto our left foot. Right hand comes to the outside of the right foot, circling out through that left hip. we'll bring our left hand down on the inside of our left or right foot, reaching the right arm forward, pivoting or shifting forward and back. Keeping those shifts going, we'll bring our right arm back behind our back, lower our left knee, point our left toe, hips go back, right toes go up towards the sky, coming into half split. And we'll transfer our weight back forward, hands on either side of our foot, sliding our right leg back, hip or knees wide, toes together, hips come back, wide-legged child's pose, walking your hands as far away from your body as you can get them, pressing down into the heart, nice stretch into the armpits here, breathing into your back. And we'll lift our gaze, looking up between our hands, planting into our right knee. We'll roll ourselves forward, bringing our left leg forward and across the mat for pigeon on the left side. So our left knee is up towards our top corner. Our left shin is across the mat. Ankle is flexed. Walking yourself down into your expression of this pose here. Maybe taking a moment to lift and lower through the chest, getting that kelp wave out on the spine. Before eventually letting your elbows go wide, letting your forehead settle towards the mat or stacking one fist on top of the other and breathing here. Three more big, deep, slow, on purpose breaths in this pose. And on the end of the third exhale, slowly begin to raise your head and your chest up off of the mat. Transfer your weight onto your left hip, bringing your right leg forward, but not letting it touch the ground. So just kicking it forward nice and slow, taking your time, and then stretching it back. So our right leg is coming forward and back, forward and back, forward and back. One last time, we bring it forward and we kick our left leg up, bending our right heel in towards our left hip. Left hip comes back, left hip comes forward, left leg comes back, left leg comes forward, and one last time, left leg comes back. This time it stays there as you bring yourself up onto your right shin, shimmying back with your left knee, pointing your left toes, bringing that seaweed spine forward and back movement. In, lifting and lowering through your chest as you slowly make your way down into your pigeon pose on the other side. So into your hip stretch, elbows go wide, right ankle is flexed. Deep breathing happening here. Stacking one fist on top of another if you need to, otherwise making your way down into the full stretch. Just breathing here, letting your outer hip relax and be stretched. Releasing tension in these spaces. Staying with your breath, filling your belly and exhaling from your belly. Staying here, there's nothing else to do. but breathe. And nice and slowly releasing your hands from under or around your face, bringing them underneath of your shoulders, gently pressing your upper body up as you roll onto your right hip, bringing your left leg up off of the mat and kicking it forward. And then the right leg comes up to meet it, coming into our boat pose. So our shins are parallel to the floor. Our hands are either reaching down at our sides or out wide to the side, or up, or full expression, lifting through the chest, leaning back, straightening the legs. Otherwise, just keeping it here. We're going to interlace our fingers, and we're going to do Russian twist side to side. So fists pull back to the opposite hips, one at a time. Little twist side to side. And when we twist over to the left, we'll straighten our right leg. When we twist over to the left, we'll over to the right, straighten our left leg, over to the left, straighten our right. So straightening opposite leg that you're twisting to. And we'll gently, slowly bring that twist to stillness as we lower one vertebrae at a time down onto the mat, laying the back of our head on the floor, pulling our knees in towards our belly. Pausing here, filling ourselves with breath, filling our chest, filling our ribs, filling our belly as it presses against our thighs, and exhaling from our belly, from our ribs, and from our chest. Inhale into your chest, into your ribs, into your belly, and exhaling from our belly, from our ribs, and from our chest. Keeping this breath going, we'll open our knees wide, our soles of our feet push up towards the sky, bending deep our knees towards our armpits, grabbing onto either ankles or outsides of the feet, coming into happy baby pose, gentle rocking side to side. And then we'll take our hands palm over back of the hands, so stacking our hands one on top of another, straightening our arms up towards the ceiling, lifting our shoulders up off of the mat. We're going to press our fingers towards opposite toes, so side to side, coming into toes. So our knees are bent towards our armpits. Our fingertips, our fingers, our hands are stacked on top of one another. We're straightening our arms, lifting our shoulders up towards our left side and then our right side. So little sit-ups here. And then we'll release our arms above our head to the floor, stepping our right foot down towards our hips, towards our bum, crossing our left knee all the way over our right. So coming into eagle legs or fully wrapping our legs as much as we can. We're going to press our right foot into the mat. We're going to lift up our hips 1 inch off of the ground and shimmy them 3 inches over to the left before opening or rolling both knees over to the right side. Arms can come wide here. So a nice twist happening. Deep, slow breaths happening, winding yourself down. Nice and slowly thinking about moving before you actually do. We're going to bring our knees back up. Bring our right foot back under or below our hips or below our bum. Uncross our left leg. Open our left knee to the left side. Feet stay together. So right knee is up towards the sky. Left knee is open towards the left side. Breathing here. Resisting the urge to open up through your right hip, letting your left one be the star here, keeping your right hip pressed towards the ground. Deep breaths. And then we'll use our hand on the outside of the left knee, bring it back up towards the sky, step the left foot in nice and close to the bum as we cross our right leg over our left. Knees stacked on top of one another. We'll lift our hips 1 inch off of the ground and shimmy them 3 inches over to the right as we let our knees fall over to the left. Arms come wide, gaze could be over to the right. Big breaths here. And then nice and slowly, bringing your knees back up towards the sky, lifting your hips, lowering one vertebrae at a time to the mat. Pull both knees into the chest, lifting nose to knees. And slowly stepping one leg at a time, out nice and wide, letting your body settle into the ground, tucking your shoulders under, arms come wide. Settling in for your final resting Shavasana. So letting go of the need to control your breath. And just allowing your body to feel the ground. Feeling the weight of your body press into the earth as you feel the strength of the earth pressing back into your body, holding you. Let your brows rest from the center of your face. Softening through your jaw. Giving yourself full permission to be exactly in this space. Letting the sounds happen. Noticing what your skin is feeling. settling into the role of the observer as you observe your thoughts, observe your body, observe your senses. You have everything you need right here and right now. You are safe. You are whole. You are provided for. Let yourself feel what needs to be felt. Work through what needs to be worked through. Now it's like this. Perhaps you can curl your lips into a gentle smile, taking time to see yourself with gratitude, joy. And if smiling just isn't going to do it for you today, that's okay. Be here in exactly the space, exactly the energy that you came and that you need to be here in. And slowly, in your own time, at your own pace, begin to bring the intention of movement into your mind. Letting your body wake up again in the way you need. Maybe it's wiggling through your fingers and toes. Maybe it's stretching your arms overhead. Use your intuition to allow yourself to come back with no sense of urgency and zero rush. And no wrong way to meet yourself again today. Maybe you place one hand over your heart. Have a few breaths here as you notice your rhythm. The beating that sets the pace for your day, for your evening, for your life. And when you're ready, gently roll onto your side, feeling a moment to send gratitude into the earth for holding space for you always. Before gently pressing yourself up to the seated position. Into a seated position with your eyes remaining closed. Sitting up nice and tall here. Moving your fleshy bits out of the way. Tucking your chin gently towards your chest, creating a nice long space through the back of the neck. Taking a moment to scan your body here. Seeing yourself on the inside. Curling your lips into a gentle smile. Bringing your practice to a close with gratitude as you gently blink your eyes open. We'll inhale, both arms come wide up to the sky. And we'll exhale, press our arms back down towards the ground. We'll inhale, scoop our hands out in front, gathering up the juiciness from our practice today. And we'll exhale, put that energy back over our heads, giving ourselves a pat on the back for showing up for ourselves, for seeing ourselves in this light. We'll inhale, hands come overhead as we gaze up between our hands, pausing in exaltation for our life, for our planet, for our body, for our breath. And we'll place our hands together as we exhale, bring them toward our third eye center at our forehead, where we pause to always remember to think kind thoughts to others, and most importantly, to ourselves. We'll fill ourselves with breath, and as we exhale, we'll bring our hands down to our voice center at our throat and our lips, where we always remember to speak kind words to others, and most importantly, to ourselves. And one last time in our practice today, we'll fill ourselves with breath, and we'll exhale, bring our hands down to our heart center, where we always remember to do kind things to and for others, but most importantly, to and for ourselves. Thank you so much for rolling out your mat today and meeting yourself where you are, so that we can practice our wild flow together. In this light, I see you. Namaste.